Alright, so yesterday we were doing a video and it cut out, so I'm going to take over for the second part of our dog tent shelter with the chimney that Gumby built. And right before the video cut off, Gumby was going to point out that the tent stakes we find throughout our adventures are very helpful in staking out the tarps that we also find. So once again, scavenge stuff. Don't ever miss the opportunity to pick stuff up when you see it, especially at campsites.
And we find them a lot at free campsites, so I collect them and often have an excess of them.
Did you point out the tripod yesterday? I forget.
Yep, I believe so.
Alright, so here's your tripod as you walk in, and the supporting tree structures here. Gumby's got a nice little fire starting up. And we just use wood that we find in the woods. Oftentimes it might be off the ground, but we don't take the bark off or anything like that. So it's probably a little smokier than it would be if we really dried and seasoned our wood. But and he just started this fire up. But generally, when we're in here, it's probably going to be a windy day or a rainy day, and the smoke, if there is any in here, it tends to stay above where you would be at if you were sitting.
Yeah, and as Teresa said, I just started this fire, so of course it's smokier than, when it starts drafting. On a day like this, it's sunny outside, so we generally just use the fire in our outdoor fire pit. So we just started it up for this video.
And we've got, as he pointed out, on the outside of the dog tent, this is a very threadbare tarp, but then we've got a piece of clear plastic, so it kind of acts like a skylight. Which is great during the day, just to give it a little bit more hominess, homey. And Gumby made this chair, bushcraft chair, as well as the grass mat, which we have a video for on the YouTube channel. We just keep our wood over here, and I usually sit on this other side, whether I'm sitting on the ground or on another grass mat or something like that, or a tarp. And we took, just trimmed this off and strewn it about the floor just to kind of, I don't know, it kind of makes it a little nicer in here.
A little more insulated, yeah. Gives it a little more natural carpeting.
Anything else you want to point out, Gumby?
Well, just kind of, one of the things I want to point out about this shelter more than other shelters is how absolutely eclectic it is. This is something that we totally, unlike the teepee where we followed a very set kind of plan, this is just kind of making it up as we go. So I just lash in a pole wherever I feel like it needs one. Again, junk wood, mostly sweet gum, stuff like that, and really simple knots. So square lashings, clove hitches, just a few knots that they teach in Boy Scouts. And you can Google online really well.
Yeah,
you can see my insulated wall from the inside here, the debris up top that's kind of got light coming through. The survival cement chinking, and then right about even with the top of the fireplace on the outside is where the rock wall is.
Yeah, so it's not airtight. I don't think we'd want it to be airtight in here. And you added some additional tarps, although if we're having a big rain event, you might stake them out like you showed in the video.
I may, yeah, we had a couple leaks.
It gets pretty warm in here. As far as just, having the fire going and maybe closing one of the flaps for the door. And doesn't generally get to the point where you're smoking yourself out.
Yeah.
So, like, if there's smoke, like I said, it kind of hangs out here. Especially when it rains, it can be smokier, just that heavy air pressure pushing everything down. But,
yeah. And to build the fireplace, kind of the trickier part was the top here. I found a board that I scavenged, and then some kind of thin metal that I nailed to form around it. So that enabled me to, keep building the fireplace up. And it's just on the ground. It did have some water come in when we had a really heavy rain, not enough to put out the fire. But if that keeps happening and it's a problem, I may build a bottom with survival cement, maybe clay and flat rocks. But right now it's going pretty well, and those 3 rocks in there are just so we can put a grill on top if we're cooking. So,
yeah, and
a big old flat rock for a mantle, kind of a stone in front.
Yeah, and we've cooked plenty of meals in here now just to help dry the chimney out. And God, I feel like there was just something I was gonna say. Well, I did want you to explain, if you could, just the general idea of these two poles, because that might not be something people are...
Yeah, these two poles are just, you know, with more weight that goes on top tarps. It can start to bend these thin poles I've got here. And like I said, I'm using soft wood just because that's what's around in abundance. So in order to compensate for using soft wood that can over time bend more and more, this is what happened to us last winter. This is why I knew I would need extra support. I put in a couple support poles. I just got them square lashed up there, which isn't the best, but it's just continual troubleshooting. I may see if this starts being a problem. If I need to notch something in, I could also use strong fork sticks. But yeah, just kind of adding what I need and keeping it light, because like I said, this is our seasonal shelter, so we kind of want to tear most of this down before we leave in the spring to go back to the mountains. So just something that's good enough. And is there anything else you want to talk about in here, Teresa?
The only thing I want to just point out, I'm not sure how much it picked up on the camera, but the smoke is cleared in here.
Yeah.
So the
Hopefully
fire just getting started is going to be smoky, but now there's no smoke in here. It's going straight up the chimney. And, yep.
And can you show the door? I want to show how we close one door. But again, this video is just to help you generate ideas. If you're wanting to kind of escape society, live in a van, get off the grid, I just want to give you an idea of how simple it can be. Because if you can wrap your mind around this and kind of see if we can show you that it works, it sheds water, it's warm, we can cook in here, I hope to inspire the possibilities in your mind like, wow, I could do that, I could do so much more. Exactly. We're not trying to show off here. We're trying to go for the simplest thing that'll work to inspire you to be creative.
Yeah, what if there were no big box stores like to buy things and you just had to make something from stuff that you found? This is kind of what it would look like, and then you can make improvements.
And we generally use this just when it's really cold or the weather drives us inside. If the weather's nice, like it is today, we just kind of use this for storage to stick stuff in. But having the door like that, just a little bit open with that one side closed, is what we generally do on a really nasty day, because that'll trap quite a bit of heat while letting smoke out. I find if I close both doors, it'll get a little too smoky. And if I open both doors, it'll release too much heat. So it's all about a relationship, you know. When you start messing with your own kind of primitive type shelters, you're forming a relationship, and you're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to listen to the shelter talking to you and troubleshoot.
Scrap wood table too.
Yeah, bushcrafted chair. We might do a video on that. And found some boards and some nails that I hammered back to be straight enough to hammer in, and made a little flat table fit to size for this shelter. So yeah, I guess that's about it. Anything else?
Nope. I just am appreciative that we have a place to be other than holed up in the van.
Yeah, this is almost 4 years of van life, and every year we figure out more stuff and incorporate more primitive skills and scavenging into what we can do in the van. So I feel like it keeps getting better and better.